Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. Today I wanted to go over some of my biggest regrets, things that I wish I would have done differently if I were to start a new account, over with the knowledge that I have today. As I go through these, feel free to let me know in the comments below if you agree or if you disagree, what you guys think you would have done differently. And always, if you find this helpful in any way, please like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into this. Probably first and foremost, I know I talk about this stuff all the time with the tech trees and maximizing what you're doing when you're pushing to headquarters 30 and getting your tier 10 tech is to make sure you are not wasting resources. You are doing the minimum you need to progress through this tree to get to the bottom and get your tier 10 troops. There have been so many players that I've seen, and I know most of them tell me they didn't see my videos before they started doing this, but they will level these up, and there's some that I've seen that have maxed these out at the top, and so they're sitting at maybe 50, 60% completed, and they barely have anything done down at the bottom here. And of course, the absolute worst case scenario that I have seen is somebody that was nearly maxed. They had most of these maxed at the top, and they were at 70%, and they still didn't have their tier 10 tech. Absolutely blown away that I had seen that, and it was not intentional. They just didn't realize that you didn't need to max everything out. So as you see here, this is pretty much the most efficient way to level up the Special Forces tree to get to the bottom and get your tier 10 troops unlocked. And if I had to do it again on my main account, this is definitely how I would have done it. I thought that, again, I had to max this out. We were all new. This is when the servers were all brand new. Nobody really knew much about the game and how to work through these trees. So I did a lot of upgrades up at the top here. I didn't max things out, but they were like level 7, level 8s all throughout here. I didn't max this out, but I got a lot of levels in these trees, or these upgrades right here, down to the morale. I got that upgraded a ton. I think by the time I was done getting my tier 10 troops, I was closer to about 55, 60%, because it didn't take me too much longer to get to 80% and unlock the mastery trees. And after you get your tier 10 tech, which is a huge resource suck, it takes so much to get these upgraded. As you can see here, just from 5 to 6 is 266 million. And this one up here, 7 to 8, is pretty much the same. This is always going to be a little bit cheaper than these three down here. But then the last one even is going to be 522 million gold. And this is with nearly maxed out tech with the Alliance. So this is as cheap as you can possibly get it. So for anybody else, if you don't have upgraded Alliance tech and everything, it's going to be more. I mean, you're talking almost 570 million or so, almost 600 million, if you don't have a lot of the tech upgraded to reduce the resource costs. And if you're not in the season, the profession skill to reduce the resource costs and the engineer does help as well. But when you are done with this, you can now use those resources to do whatever you need to. If you need to fix your building upgrades and get your buildings caught up to headquarters 30, so things are in line, you can level up your barracks so your barracks are staggered, so you have lower level barracks that lead all the way up to your tier 10 tech barracks. And then just working on, you want to max out your drill grounds so you can get as many troops as you can. And, you're going to want to work on your hospitals, your tech centers. And then certainly one of the more important ones too is also these centers, the aircraft, tank, and missile centers. Definitely want to get those upgraded. That's a really good source of power for your teams because it increases all their fixed stats, plus it also gives them increased march size per each hero, which is great. And then after that, I would also be working on these guys right here, the smelters, to get your ore output increased. Because you're going to be working on gear for a very long time. But once you're done with your tier 10 tech, you're able to use your resources for all that other stuff. You're done with headquarters 30, you're done with your tier 10 tech, and then you can kind of take your time with other things after that. And speaking of buildings, this is another thing I wish I would have prioritized early on. So number 2 would have definitely been my center levels, because I started off with tank and I was leveling up tanks, And I wanted to keep my aircrafts pretty strong too. So I spent tons and tons of resources leveling these up. Early on, it's not that bad, but when you start getting to higher levels, you can see here, it's going to start eating up a ton of iron, which is something you don't want to waste when you are pushing to headquarters 30. So for me to have two different centers all the way up around like 26, 27, burned a ton of resources that I didn't need to. So my advice is to select the center that you're going to work with. So if you want to be aircraft, take your aircraft center as soon as you can and start upgrading this right away and work your headquarters level based on that one center. Don't work your tank all the way up and then later on switch to your aircraft, because then you have to do double the work if you're going to switch to aircraft and then use your aircraft center to level up your headquarters to 30. So just keep that in mind. Don't waste a bunch of resources, but also you don't want to be thinking about switching to aircraft and have a level 27 tech center when you're trying to push to headquarters 30 and your aircraft center. You don't want to level that up because you don't want to waste the resources. And then a few of the other buildings that I put in resources in early on that I wish I hadn't was definitely the training bases. I leveled these up so high because I was thinking I was going to need so much hero XP. And while you do, the return on investment on these is really, really bad because you can get hero XP in so many other ways, upgrading other buildings. You're going to continue to get hero XP, and you're going to mostly focus on that one squad anyways early on. So you really don't need to be worried so much about the hero experience. And so for me to waste a lot of resources on this, I put myself a little bit behind there too. But then I also leveled up farms and iron mines. I'm talking about my main account. I know I'm on my baby account, and that's why these aren't that high. I leveled these up just a little bit. I'll probably continue to work on these here and there as I'm working through my tier 10 tech. Trying to get these leveled up so I do get a little more resources every day. But the last thing you want to do is sit here and try to level up all these buildings and max them out to your hero upgrade. The last thing you want to do is sit here and upgrade these so they're near or maxed with your headquarters level for where you're at. Don't do that. You're going to burn up a lot of resources or a lot of speed ups or whatever it may be. So don't do that. Try to avoid a lot of this resource output stuff until after you're done with your headquarters 30 and you're working through that tier 10 tech. But on the way, I would suggest leveling up the drill grounds. These are always very important to continue to level up, because you want to have as many troops as you can a majority of the time. So don't forget about the drill grounds. Keep them leveled up. You don't need to max them out. And you obviously want to save the resources for the tier 10 tech. So once you're done with tier 10 tech, again, you can kind of do whatever you want to at that point. You can work on getting your 4 drill grounds, level those all up, max them out, and you can sit there and have 40,000+ troops in your drill grounds, which is a ton of fun for versus and the seasons and things like that. And really for Desert Storm, having a ton of troops in Desert Storm will help you keep in fights for a very long time. Moving on to number 3, this is probably one I regret certainly the most, and that is burning honor points on things that you can get elsewhere or just aren't worth the honor points. So when I preach this, it's because I've done it. I've done it, and like I said, I hate it that I did it, because I could have used all those honor medals in such a better way. For instance, I bought the legendary skill chip chest out of here. I've also bought the decoration chest. This is the dumbest thing to purchase out of here. I'll tell you that right now. Don't do that. There's no reason to get this. You get it in for free in Desert Storm. You can get it in the Warzone duel fights during the seasons. There's so many different ways to get these for free. There's no reason to spend 50,000 honor medals on this at all. I was really excited when the skill chip chest came out, and so when I was sitting on like 120,000 honor medals, and I didn't really think that much about gear at the time. And so I went ahead and picked this up as well. Such a dumb move. I could have had so many more upgrades done if I had bought, 100,000 worth of these, which would have been, 10 blueprints. And that would have got, if I had a level 1 star piece, I could have got it up to 2 star. But instead I got a random legendary skill chip. not that great of a return on investment. And yes, I've also come in here and bought out the drone parts. I didn't buy out all 100, but I bought a lot of drone parts out of here. I was pushing the drone and I was so excited trying to get, I don't remember if it was level 100 or what it was, but I was trying to push the drone. And man, do I regret that, because I spent probably close to 100,000 in metals on the drone parts over, I don't know, a month or two doing that grind. And then same thing with the weapon shards. I bought out almost all 25 weapon shards at one point. I thought that was going to be a great idea. Weapon shards early on are really hard to get. After season 2, they really start to become a lot easier. And then when you get headquarters 31 unlocked and you get to 31, you get so many for free. I get around 100 and 150 weapon shards every week on my main account. So for me to come in here and spend 25,000 honor medals on 10 weapon shards just doesn't make sense for me. That's such a big waste of the honor medals when I need blueprints so bad, because I could have been nearly maxed with a lot of my gear on my main team if I had focused on just getting blueprints out of here for a year plus. And just so you know, I didn't start focusing on that until about 7-8 months ago. Had I been doing that for the previous 9 months leading up to that, I would have had so much more progress on my main account. So don't make the same mistakes I did. When you get honor medals, your number one priority should be buying out the legendary prints. Buy these hands down every time. And if I find out that you bought ceramic, I will hunt you down. And this one, not as big of a deal. I came into the season store and I bought some of the Throne of Blood decor pieces. I thought it was better than what it was. I do not recommend you coming in here and buying the Throne of Blood decorations. Just don't do it. Save the honor medals. God of Judgment is better because it increases march size, but your focuses should be the mythic prints and the base skins. If you can get base skins, especially free-to-play players, getting a base skin is so helpful. And then after that, getting a mythic gear blueprint, trying to buy enough to get a full set is pretty helpful. And then the skill points, those are not bad, but I wouldn't recommend them. While it is nice having more skill points, some of the professions are to the point where you don't need as many skill points as you think you do. And then going to my main account, this is another regret of mine, is the survivors. I wish I would have gotten a 4-star Taylor early on instead of waiting. And then 6-7 months after she came out, I finally ended up getting her. I just got her up to 2-star. I didn't realize how good the 4-star buffs were for her to get the gold chest. But now I'm to the point where I don't know if it's worth me spending the money to get her up to 4-star now. I'm just going to leave her where she's at because the monument is probably the only thing that is of substantial value here. The resource chests are pretty good too, but right now I'm just in a position where I don't need that many universal shards, and the choice chest, for the cost for me to get her up to 4-star, to get a choice chest and then maybe get some more monuments, just doesn't seem worth it to me because I have the monument pretty well leveled up at this point, and I have all the heroes leveled up. I don't need any more hero shards. So the resource chest, it would be really the only thing that I'm really concerned about out of here. Though, getting more ore would have been a little helpful as well. So for me now, it just feels like it would be, and not a waste, but just a little bit of a pain for me to buy it now, knowing all the resources and things that I missed out on if I had gotten her earlier. So for you, if you're thinking about Taylor, pick her up. The sooner the better. As soon as you can get her unlocked and get her up to level 4, do that, because then you're immediately reaping the rewards. You're getting a bunch of hero shards. You're getting the resource chest. You're getting the monument, so you can level that up. I think mine's at, is it close to level 5? I think it's level 4. It's right down here. Yeah, level 4, about 4.5. So I would highly recommend picking her up, leveling her up to level 4, And then, if you want to get her up to level 5, that's fine, but at least get her up to level 4 and get the deluxe box. Get those legendary boxes out of there to get the best rewards. And then Shirley, it is what it is. I'm fine with level 2 on Shirley. It is very expensive to level her up, and the returns you get, while it is one of the few ways you can increase march size, the hero attack just isn't like huge. It's not 1,000, it's not 2,000. It's only a few hundred attack. So this I am absolutely fine just getting to level 2 and leaving it there. And the last thing for today that I wanted to cover was the hero weapon exclusives and leveling up my tank team to the level that I did before switching to my aircraft team. Getting a hero to level 20 might not seem like a lot. It was a lot of hero weapon shards that I had burned on both her and my Murphy to get them to level 20 and to level 11 before I started working on my aircraft team. Had I not done that, I could have had all my heroes to level 20 going into season 3 and been able to get Diva to level 30, maybe even start working on Carly to level 30 in season 3 instead of still trying to work on my aircraft team. While I do have Divas done, I still only have level 20 on Carly and Skylar instead of having close to maybe a 25, level 26 Carly. The good news is it makes my second team fairly strong for what they're at. They're at 40 million, and that's without the gorilla. So you take the gorilla off my first squad, and my first squad is closer to 46, almost 47 million-ish. And so if you compare those two, that's not that bad. However, if I had been able to do all those upgrades to the aircraft team instead of doing my tank team, my aircraft team probably would have been close to 52-ish million with the gorilla equipped as well. So that's a pretty big difference when you're talking about fighting somebody. If they're 51 million or 51.5 million, it's going to be a tough fight. But if I'm at 52 million and they're at 51 or 51.5, this should be fights I should be able to win pretty easily. So for now, it put me behind on my aircraft team. But eventually down the road, once I get my aircraft team to a really good spot, Lucius' weapon is going to be coming out on my main account next week, so I'm going to have to level that up. But once I'm done I'm going to work on Carly's weapon to level 30, and then I can switch to my tank team and start working on my tank team again. But my tank team is already in a decent spot, so it's only going to get stronger. I can just get Murphy up to level 20 from level 11, and the tank team is going to get that much stronger. So going back to the gear situation, had I done what I said earlier about picking up the gear blueprints, and then on top of that, if I would have used my exclusive weapons just for my air team, this air team would be 53 million, if not stronger, which is a big swing. So making sure you're doing stuff right at the beginning can make a huge impact later on down the road. So pay attention. If you got questions, you can always come out to the streams. I'm always trying to answer people's questions on the streams. You can post account reviews in the Discord. The Discord is linked below. And then we got tons of people on the Discord channel anyways. If you got questions, people are usually answering questions in the Discord. But that's it for this one. Thanks again for watching, everybody. As always, I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.